Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your Cernunnos ADC guide. So we're going to be grabbing our starter item, which is going to be a leather cowl. Leather cowl right now, just a very safe starter item. It also happens to be one of my favorite starter items. So if you don't know what to go on a hunter, this would be the one that you should default to. It's going to give you 15 physical power. You get lifesteal and attack speed, plus you get the bonus from the passive of either more attack speed in the lane or more movement speed when you're by yourself. This also transitions really nicely into the hunter's cowl for the late stages of the game, and you can get a lot of lifesteal if you decide to go the Devo gloves with this. On top of Cernunnos, with the heal we're going to get from our spring growth, we're going to have some crazy sustain, which is going to be a blast. So on Cern, we're going to start with our Bramble Blast. This is our 2. This is also the ability that we are going to max out first. This is going to be a burst damage ability that also has a damage over time, and it also has a root aspect to it if you hit it direct. Remember, on Hunters this season, you are starting at the red buff. You're helping your mid laner clear the red. They walk right to the lane, and then you go over and help out your support with the purple, and then get the lane ASAP so you can start clearing it and try to get the level 2. So I'm going to use my ability back here on these creeps, because my goal right now is just to try to get that level 2 so I can get my dash and then dash right on in. So I get the level 2, so I am dashing right on in. And I'm just going to go for whoever is right in front of me. This happens to be a Kuzenbo, and we force the Kuzenbo shell. The first team to get their level 2s online is the first person to gain the lane control. So getting the lane as soon as possible, and then playing aggressive on that very first wave, very important right now. Now, one thing you do need to be careful of, if you are going the Hunter's Cow and Devo Glove start, is you will have some mana problems. So I have opted for 1 health potion and 2 multi-pots. You can go 2 health potions and 2 mana potions if you want to, but your boxing capabilities is going to be a little hindered. Just keep an eye on your mana and try not to full commit to using all of your abilities and spamming through that mana unless you really feel like you've got a potential kill online. So right now I'm probably not going to use my dash again unless I really feel like I can secure the kill. Speaking of our dash, that is the ability that we got at level 2. Just a short range dash. The reason why this is important is it's actually one of the better aggressive dashes in the game. Pretty short duration, pretty short length here for Cern on his dash, but it does a good amount of damage. When you rank it up, it's also going to lower the CDR, which is nice. But more importantly, his dash, if you use it properly, can get you set up right by the target that you're trying to fight. And he's one of the few hunters that actually wants to be all up in the enemy gods in waves business. You actually want to be in melee range on Cern. The reason why you want to be in melee range on Cern is because of his passive, which gives you an additional 25% of your basic attack damage in a little cone in front of you. So in order to maximize your damage on Cern, you actually need to be in the melee range, and you'll know it's proccing because you'll hear a slight difference in the auto attack sound. So this is the regular auto. Now listen to this. You get that like glavy shoo on the sound effect, which lets you know, hey, I'm actually working. So we walk up, we stole the purple, going back the wave. Now we're going to go do our purple buff. Level 4, we're going to get our 1. And this is going to be our shifter of season. So quick run through of this. Green means lifesteal. Yellow means bonus damage. Orange means penetration. And blue means slowing down the enemy. In general, you're probably going to have this on bonus damage or on healing most of the time. But we will be utilizing all 4 stances on Cern for various situations. For our leveling order on Cern, we're grabbing our 2 and maxing that out first. Then we are going to level up our ultimate. Then I like to level up the 1 and finally the 3. Some people will actually not level the ultimate on Cern because it gives you that 50 damage. That's okay. You can actually rank up that 3 first for the lowered CDR if you feel like it is going to help you. But for the most part, I find that the 2-4-1-3 works best for me. You can mix that around though because of Cernunnos' a lowered cooldown on the dash. So if you want to get that leveled up earlier, you can. Especially if you're playing aggressive and you're trying to also utilize it for the bonus damage, you could actually get a good amount of bonus damage out of that ability. So I'm gonna stick around. I need 100, give or take, more gold to finish up these Devo gloves and start getting it stacked. So I'm just gonna wait around for it and then back it up. And then I'll start working on my attack speed boot. Attack speed boot is still the go-to right now for hunters in this meta. If you're like an Apollo, you'll end up getting the Warrior tab eye because you don't want to overcap. But on Cernunnos, not really worried about over capping on the attack speed. We do not have an attack speed stim in our kit. For guys that you like going against in the lane, Cernunnos wants to go for the fight. So he prefers not to be against those top tier fighters in lane. He can struggle with people that can also jump over his ultimate. So Anher can be very problematic for you. Anher probably the premier 1v1 lane fighter right now in the duo lane. So I would be aware of him. He can jump over your ulti. He's generically better at fighting you, and he can impale you out of your melee range. So you don't get to utilize that bonus. Another note is Woojer. Woojer just got a lot of damage built into the kit, and he can still jump right over your ultimate. So anybody that does not have a leap tends to be pretty good for you. I'm gonna go super aggressive on this. He has just used his beads, and if I play this right, my ultimate should be able to grab the kill. So Izanami is actually a good person for us to go against. Izanami more of a lane clearer than a premier fighter. She wants to farm a little bit more, so we can dash aggressively into him. And even if he does what he did, which is ulti right on top of me, that is totally fine. I'm gonna be all right because I get that bonus 25% damage on the melee range. So you can see why you wouldn't, like, you don't want to dash into an Woojer because then you're just going to get axed in full combo, right? You don't want to dash into an Anher because then he's going to impale you and smack your butt. But somebody like an Izanami or Rama, these types of characters we like going against on Cern. Because we can dash right into them and not be afraid. Should also be noted on Cern that your passive does work on towers, but your one does not. So a lot of new players will think that you can get like this bonus summer heat damage from your yellow stance on a tower or something. Does not work. Doesn't matter what stance you're in for attacking a tower like that, but your passive will proc if you are in that melee range. But your one will work on objectives like the Gold Fury and Fire Giant, so you can get the bonus damage on those objectives. Plus, you can also get the bonus damage from your passive, so you can get a 2-for-1 deal on the Gold Fury and the Fire Giant. So in general, if I'm down on low HP, or if I'm missing any HP at all, I am going to switch over my stance to heals for the bonus healing. If I don't need any bonus healing, I'm generically going to be sitting in the summer stance for the extra damage. If I'm doing an objective like a Gold Fury or a Fire Giant, I'm going to want to make sure I switch over to my orange autumn stance to get a little bit of penetration going. Reduce a little bit of the protections. Or if I'm fighting a tank for the most part, I'm going to want to reduce some of their protections. I'm going to try for a real quick cheeky rotation over here to the mid lane. I'm actually going to switch over to my slow. I'm going to, I have the ulti right on top of myself, but I'm trying to slow down the Thanatos with my slowy autos. Unfortunately, doesn't look like we had any follow-up for me, which is really a bummer. We might be able to actually keep this chase going, though, here for the Kuzenbo. I'm going to dash right into him, and I should be able to finish up that with a little, too. Now, I am completely out of mana because I've been spamming through my abilities, so I got to be careful rotating back over here to lane. But the Izanami shouldn't be able to kill me, but I'm going to preemptively get in my healing stance just to be able to full heal as quick as possible. In general right now, for the ADCs, you're not going to do a ton of rotating this season. But if you do see a big fight breaking out, and you know it's going to be a long duration fight, you can rotate over to the mid lane. If it's anywhere on the other side of that right-hand jungle, let it go. You're never going to make it there in time unless you've got some sort of global ult, like a Cernunnos or an Apollo. But if the fight is in the left-hand side jungle, as far over as the mid lane, you can make that rotation in time for some of those fights. But make sure you are clearing your buffs in your wave first. You should be prioritizing your own XP. So try to get the wave first. Maybe you can proxy a wave, like pretend like you're over in the solo lane. And of course, get your buffs first. That way you don't fall too far behind in XP for the rotation, even if it ends up not being in your team's favor. My Devo gloves is almost stacked for my third item this game. I'm going into a Icky Vault. So crit right now is good again for hunters. So if you want to go a rage win demon death bringer build, it is quite good right now and totally viable on the Cernunnos. But looking at their team, they have a Kuzenbo, so they've already got reflect damage. I'm sure they're going to grab some thorns. We also have a couple of decent auto attackers on our team with the Vamana and the Willix. So I'm just not even going to bother with the crit, and I'm going to show you a nice build that will work against tankier comps and still do a lot of damage. I'm also going to get out some deep wards right now. So these are the two aggressive wards that I like for support. You're going to see that these completely cover me from getting ganked aggressively. So all I have to worry about them is them rotating back through my own buffs in order to gank me. And if they do that, well, that's kind of my fault. A little bit of a mistake that I just made right there. The Greater Scorpion was spawned right by us. So what I should have done is actually not done my purple buff. I should have cleared out the Greater Scorpion and then done the purple buff and grabbed the enhanced purple with the additional 15% attack speed. You got to clear that first. It is not retroactive. So that's what I should have done in hindsight. No eyes on the Izanami, so I'm going to call that for the team. But I am going to stay over here and keep shoving. So this third item, Icky Roll, is going to really make us annoying to box for the Izanami or any auto attack based hunter. It still works pretty well into the ability based hunters like the Woojers, but it's really more efficient against the Ramas, the Artemises, the Izanamis of the world that really rely on those auto attacks more so than their abilities. But we're going to take so much attack speed. And we're going to deal a lot of damage. Plus, we have so much sustain already on Cern with our Cal. Let's see. Let's do a little math here. We got 10% lifesteal. Plus, we got another 29%. So, essentially, we got 40% lifesteal. Plus, my 1, which could give me another 15%. So, we potentially got 55% lifesteal right now. Oh, no, my beads. Ah! That is unfortunate. I shouldn't have gotten hit by that Kraken at all. Unfortunately, beads did not go off in time, but luckily we are not going to die here because he's a little bit under leveled. So I'm going to grab Aegis as my second active, which is kind of funny that I just got Kraken and bought the Aegis right after, but in general, Aegis and beads still the go-to ADC actives. You've got some other ones that you can do situationally. You'll see Shell picked up decently often on ADC as well, and I like it right now. Their comp doesn't have quite as much auto attacks for me to personally get Shell. I think there's an argument to be made that maybe Izanami or Lang has enough auto attacks in order to get the Shell. But I would rather this game have the Aegis for the Thanatos ult and the Poseidon ult. But those are the three actives that I would really consider. You're probably going to get beads every single time. And then you're either going to get beads or Aegis or beads and Shell, depending on the exact composition that you are going against. So around the 10 to 15 minute marker in Season 8 is really when you have full-fledged dove into the mid game, which means that's when you're looking for the team fights. So it is just about team fight o'clock right now.
Be careful left.
Ooh, like 1 HP. So this is the time that we're looking to start rotating. Oh, I knew he was coming. I tried to get the ulti Aegis off in time, but I couldn't even get the ulti. So we're going to be able to grab the Ichabod right here, and then we're going to go directly into a Kin side. That Kins is going to give us a bunch of bonus damage, and then after our Kins, we're going to go into domination as soon as we figure out wherever dominance is what it's called. I always call it domination. That is the game mode, not the item. Dominance, probably the premier penetration item right now for hunters. It's also pretty good on auto attack junglers like Erlang can make great use out of it. But right now, people aren't tending to get very tanky until super late in the game.
Defend the Gold Fury.
So I don't think you have to worry about percent pen on hunters until at the absolute earliest, your 4th item. If you want like flat pen in the game earlier than that, that's totally fine. But for percent pen, you're really looking at that 4th item earliest. I prefer more so of a 5th item. I'm going to grab this purple buff and get that bonus attack speed. You can see the little diamond above it on the map. That means it is the enhanced purple, so I'm going to get 25% attack speed from this. And I've also got a sentry ward that I want to go put over on the Gold Fury, but I want to make sure that I'm getting my wave XP first. For our standard combination on Cernunnos, when we see somebody, we are going to 2 and ulti basically at the same time. I'm going to switch my stance over to cold right now. Let's see if we can't get a little play-by-play. Poseidon does know that I'm here. I'm going to throw down my 2, and then I'm going to have to actually dash away right now because the Kuzmo is going to push me towards him. But your standard combination is you're either going to 2 ulti or ulti 2, depending on how confident you are. I can see that I'm about to make some friends, so I'm actually going to ulti on top of myself and Aegis. And we're going to be able to live through. I'm switching over to my healing stance now, so I can just start healing up a ton off of all of these guys. Kill that Poseidon. Just keep on W King right through them, and then I'm going to call for the Gold Fury play right now. Thanatos' ultimate is down, so I'm going to head over to the gold, and I should be able to mostly sustain. Now, keep in mind that my healing is reduced by 30% because of that not brawling debuff, so you can't really sustain totally off of the objectives anymore by yourself. But I've got so much healing, it doesn't even really matter, so I just needed one little Scylla to come over and help out. I need 40 gold for my Kins. The only person that can be here is Thanatos, so I feel like this is an appropriate amount of greed. So I'm going to grab the hashtag one more wave, this little camp, and then I'm going to back to get my Kins as well as my sentry ward.
Thank you for this power.
Now I'm going to make the call to go over towards Fire Giant. It is near the 20-minute marker. 20-minute marker is officially the end game in Season 8. So this is where you start thinking about doing Fire Giants, full 5v5 team fights into Phoenix pushes, that whole shebang. The games are very quick right now, so you have to be thinking to yourself, all right, time to go this, time to go do that. You got to get in that end game mentality very quickly. Gonna immediately try to counter this ward over here. You can see they're also getting set up around Fire Giant. I'm going to sit right now in my Frost stance to keep the slows on these guys. I gotta be careful because I do not have any actives up. Switching over to my healing stance as soon as I need to sustain up off the Pyro. Once I don't need to sustain anymore, this 2 should hopefully be able to give me enough damage to burn it down so they can't grab it. We need to be getting grouped up around the fire. I should not be pushing forward first. That should be my Yamoja or my Vamana. You can see that the Izanami is actually split pushing over in left lane. Split pushing right now, very effective. Erlang trying to dash at me, so I'm going to root him, and then I'm actually going to dash into him, just trying to keep the slow on him as much as I can, and we're going to be able to grab that quick kill. If they start split pushing, then you need to start doing an objective. So we need one person to the back and defend left lane. Unfortunately, I'm now taking this Fire Giant because nobody was really taking the precedent to do it. Our Vamana should have probably backed to go defend left lane. We need to kill this Poseidon. Oh, luckily he cracked in way early, so we're not going to have to deal with him stealing. Izanami is still split pushing over in the left lane. We should have had one person back at this point. The second we killed that Erlang, we made it a nice 4v4 fight. So we actually did not need all 5 of us. Luckily, our Vamana did have his teleport up, so we could teleport to the Phoenix. And now we can go to shove right lane. Death timers are very long right now. So you can see that the Izanami death timer is actually 50 seconds. We need to get out of here. As much as I want to attack right lane, everybody else back, so we can go around and get all the tier 2s. 50-second death timers, sub 20 minutes, means that you have a lot of opportunities in order to push objectives, particularly Phoenixes in the Titan, after getting just a couple of kills. Now, getting a quick kill right now would be huge. I'm switching over to my Autumn stance in order to remove some of Kuzumo's protections, and then I switch over to my slow stance so my team can hopefully get here in time to grab the kill. Walking back over to the mid lane, we still don't have the tier 2 tower down. We forced some actives, and that's gonna have to be enough for now. Now, just because you can do 25% bonus damage with Cern by walking up into melee range doesn't mean that every situation is appropriate to walk up in the melee range. Particularly in team fights, you're just gonna utilize that bonus damage if you're getting doped by like their assassin or something, but you should not be dashing aggressively like into 5 people YOLO swag. I'm going in and God told me I do 25% more damage. No. All right, so like I am not gonna dash in on this Phoenix right now. I'm gonna very so kindly do the damage from a nice safe spot, okay? That's what Incon wants you doing. And then once it's looking a little bit safer, then you dash in order to utilize the damage, okay?
Be careful.
We need to be a little careful right here. We got 3 people left alive. I'm gonna stand right here. Oh, I don't actually have to go through the door. I can go right over to the Phoenix. Now, right now, I can actually walk a little bit closer up into melee range. I gotta be careful with the Kuzenbo, who actually does grab me right there. I'm gonna switch over to my slow stance, get a bunch of damage on him, but what I really want is the Phoenix right now.
Attack right lane.
As long as somebody tanks this for me, I'm gonna walk right up into melee range to make sure I'm getting that bonus 25% damage on this Phoenix. This is when it's really important to be getting it. I'm gonna root the Kuzenbo, hopefully. Nope, I'm gonna miss that, but I'm gonna dash away. Izanami's probably gonna dash to me. That's what I would do. Nope, it looks like we're gonna be able to grab that 3rd Phoenix and get right on out. So with my 5th item here, 5th item, we're gonna back up. Woo! We're getting a little bit too greedy. We're actually getting a little bit punished for this. Although, no, I need to back up. They're chasing out. They have to because they lost all 3 Phoenixes. So we can back up and finish our item. Always finish your starter if you can finish your starter. Everybody forgets right now. It's gonna happen. At some point, you're gonna be like, hey, I can back up and I'll get a full item. And then you'll be like, oh no, I should have ranked up my starter. That's fine. It happens. For us on Hunter's Cow, it is always gonna be Hunter's Cow. Leader's Cow is not nearly as good. It's more of a supporty type item, and honestly doesn't really have a good fit in the meta right now, so you don't see it almost ever. Gonna grab this Greater Scorpion first before I clear my purple buff to make sure that I have the full bonus 25% attack speed from purple instead of just the regular bonus 10%. And now we can grab the Gold Fury and wait for the Fire Giant to spawn. Okay, they did the Gold Fury. So we just walk right over to the Fire Giant. It's gonna spawn in less than a minute, which means I have an opportunity to back up and actually finish the Dominance. Dominance gives you 20% pen on your auto attacks, but only 10% on your abilities, making it perfect for auto attack assassins or hunters. With this build right now, you can also see that our lifesteal has gone up even more because now we're getting 15% physical lifesteal from our Hunter's Cow. So we've just got lifesteal on lifesteal on lifesteal. Now, if this game were to keep going, and if I were need to sell my boots, the item that I would get 6 this game is a Berserker Shield. It would give me another 10% pen plus good power and attack speed, so I'm not really losing any attack speed when I sell my boots. But you're gonna find that almost none of your games go long enough for you to actually get a 6th item. So this is going to be your full build in 98% of your games. They are around, potentially trying to defend this, so we should actually be looking for the fight. I'm gonna try to force out a Kraken or something. They backed up pretty quick. That's all good. I've still got Scylla around with me. I'm gonna switch over to my Healy stance, and I'm gonna be able to burn this down with Scylla in like 1 second. Izanami is here. Actually, we gotta be very careful now. We actually got quite split in this fight, which is gonna cost us a lot. We're gonna pick up the Izanami. We got 2 dead. Unfortunately for them, we've got all the Phoenixes down. So in order for them to come out even in this, they actually have to completely win this fight. And it looks like they're going to. Scylla has to use both their active. She's gonna die right there, but they can't even do the Fire Giant if they want to, because they're gonna have to back up and defend all of their Phoenixes. So we're gonna get a little round 2 attempt. So we're gonna rank up our beads. We've still got the Sentry Ward, so we can buy another regular ward, and then we walk right back out towards the Fire Giant. No harm, no foul. We did get very split. So right there, what happened
Enemy Phoenix.
is we had a Poseidon and a Kuzenbo that were fairly out of position. But then they started to retreat, and instead of us accepting the win on their retreat and just going right back to the Fire Giant, we had a couple members chase all the way out to where like the tier 2 tower would be, putting themselves then out of position, so then we didn't get the Fire Giant. Just because somebody is out of position doesn't mean you can chase them until a point where you're out of position, because then the tables have turned. So you got to be careful with that one. If you can get the quick pick, that is great.
Gank left lane.
Ooh, speaking of quick picks. That is already his dash down. And I'm going to use that bonus melee damage to just absolutely wreck him. So normally you would think, Earl Lang is going to be able to 1v1 the Cern, right? Nah, man. You get in that melee range. I've got all that bonus damage. We should head right back over to the Fire Giant. Plus, with my Icky-Vol and all of my lifesteal, man, there's no way he comes out on top of that unless he has the full knock-up combo on me. Especially not with this lead that we have right now. But now we've got a nice 5v4. So if they're walking up like this, we can absolutely fight this. We've got a good 25-second death timer. If they're going to be showing way too far forward, we can absolutely be looking for a fight. Nothing wrong with this at all as long as we're doing it all together. Poseidon. We're going to be able to grab an instant pick. We need to kill the Izanami as well. And now we don't need the Fire Giant anymore, because we should be able to just walk up and end the game. So right there, you can see that instead of doing the Fire Giant, we grouped up around the Fire Giant, which forced them to fight us. After we forced the fight, we were all grouped up as 5. We had the 1 guy dead already, so we actually had a nice 5v4 fight right there. And then we get to win the game. So that was our final build. Like I said, we'd get a Berserker shield if we could sell the boots, but none of your games are basically going to go that long. Also keep in mind that with the death timers being so long, getting picked off is more important than ever to be careful with that. So with the Earl Lang over there pushing in the duo lane, he pushed just #1 wave too many, which allowed him to get picked off. Because he got picked off, we could go for the full fight over by the Fire Giant, knowing we had the 5v4, so we could go more aggressive. Then we pushed right on into them, ending the game. So you got to be very careful with your positioning, particularly at that 20-minute marker, because right about the 20-minute marker, you're going to have about 50-second death timers, which is just nuts, guys. And that is our Cernunnos ADC guide.